Good morning. I'm out here on my morning walk, and I just wanted to pop on here and say, oh, here's a dog. Yeah, this is what happens when I walk in a neighborhood. Didn't want to talk too loud, but one thing I wanted to say is, I was thinking about people and, leveling up your life and, things that you got to do, and what are some of the biggest pieces you can, leverage. What is the biggest move you could leverage to kind of change your life? And that got me really thinking about the people that I know who are stuck. And, we all kind of get there at some point in time, but the people who literally just hold themselves back like they're their own worst enemy. And, that key piece is self-responsibility. If you want to really leverage or move, do the one thing that's actually going to move your life in a forward fashion, forward momentum, is self-responsibility. I know a lot of people who hold themselves back. Oh, I can't do this because of this, or I can't do that because I'm a single mom, or I was divorced and left with 3 kids, and that's tough. It really is tough, and it sucks. Everybody has something that has happened to them that has really put them in a disadvantage that's unfair. However, there are lots of people that overcome stuff like that. Not that it's easy, but I've noticed that the ones that really do overcome those kind of things, or even just the basic stuff, is self-responsibility. Like, we have a lot more within our own control than we realize. A lot of people don't realize their own power and what they actually can control in their daily lives. Whether it's their daily life or, even with their goals. And that's something else. A lot of people don't have goals, but which is fine. Not everybody wants to, I don't know. We all are living our own life, but if you want to feel like you're in control of your own life, self-responsibility. And that's, really comes down to the fact that you're only responsible for yourself. You can only control yourself. I think a lot of people that feel like they're stuck, and they feel like a lot of things are outside of their control, when we live in a world with other people. We live in a world with rules and haven't asked permission or try to do things, that require money, or a lot of things that we don't necessarily get to control ourselves. However, we can respond in a manner that still moves us forward. One closed door isn't the end all be all. If you, for example, if you have kids, you're a single mom, you have kids, and you want to go back to school, or maybe your job sucks, study something. Can't afford to go back to school, don't have time to go back to school. There are plenty of courses online with professionals that are in that field that are doing those things. You can learn. You can get your foot into the door at a company where you could utilize those skills. Another thing is kind of just being smart about certain things. Just because your job description said you did one thing, a lot of that kind of stuff is transferable. They just gave it a different name. Anyways, even let's say outside of that, oh well, nobody will, you might not get a degree from it, that piece of paper, but you'll learn something. As well as You know, get online and freelance. Reach out to friends and family and see if you could do that for them. There's always a starting point. Yeah, the starting point sucks, but at some point and some place, I mean, you'll get your foot in the door somewhere. But the point is not to sit there and go, oh, you know, I can't because of this. There are, if you're determined to make it happen, there are many, many, many ways to get to where you want to go. Might not be a direct route. Sometimes it's not necessarily, maybe there's a detour when it comes to that. I mean, a lot of people find that they might have planned for one thing and it turned out that something else worked out better for them. A lot of people who end up in certain things, they find out like, oh, hey, was this, you know, how, if you ask a lot of people how they ended up into something, they kind of fell into it. Wasn't that they necessarily went that direction, but you know, it kind of worked out. Something worked out. It wasn't something they planned and it worked out. But anyways, now it's just turning into a long rant. I just wanted to say, you know, self-responsibility goes a long way, as well as, you know, when I think about all the people who I admire and look up to, people who are doing things, people who, even if they're not doing things, just their personality, you know, and a truly unbothered person knows they can't sit there and control anybody else, but they do have control of themselves. And you can't make other people do things, which is fine, because I don't want to be a controlling person. But also, in that same note, you know, it's not about being a victim. Oh, you know, this person told me no, so I can't. Dude, you're only in control of yourself. If you really want to do something, you'll find a way. It doesn't have to be through that person. It doesn't have to be through those means. And also know that as much as you can't control other people or control certain circumstances, other people can't control you. And the power is really within yourself. I mean, self-empowerment will take you a long way. Self-responsibility will take you a long way. It will be the one thing that will move you forward no matter what life throws at you. Keep that in mind. I'll see you later. Bye.